What happened to the saltwater Paludarium? That's a question I've been asked quite a lot lately, and honestly, I don't blame you. It has been well over 100 days since I last posted an update about the saltwater Paludarium here on the channel. No updates, no quick clips, nothing. During this time, a lot of you started sending me DMs and leaving comments on other videos, all asking the same thing. What happened? Did I take it down? Did it fail? Or is it still here? Well, let's take a look. The truth is, I simply didn't have much to talk about. The system has been doing really well, and over the past few months, nothing dramatic or unusual happened. It was just stable. And sometimes that doesn't make for the most exciting update. But that stability comes with a cost. Because I can tell you this now, this tank is coming down. As strange as this might sound, it's something that needs to happen. In the last update about 3 months ago, I talked about a dilemma I was facing. As the mangroves continued to grow, they slowly started running out of space. They were getting closer and closer to the lights, which actually caused darker areas in the water below. And in some cases, even burned leaves on the mangroves themselves. So I asked you a question. Do we trim the mangroves back and buy ourselves a little bit more time? Or do we completely rework this system, move the mangroves towards the center of the aquarium, and give them the space they need to grow into a full, bushy mangrove forest? After reading through your comments and considering my own slight preference, the answer became pretty clear. The system needs to calm down. Now, that doesn't mean it's happening right away. There are a few other projects that need to move forward first. Projects I announced over a year ago, like the Terrarium build and the new fish room with nanotanks downstairs. All of these projects are connected, and one of them directly affects what happens to this tank next. You know, sometimes life just gets in the way, and when you try doing too many things at once, motivation can quickly fade, which is what happened here. But this week I finally began building the Terrarium, a tropical terrarium. A 6-foot wide DIY project tucked into the bulkhead of the attic. Now it is still early, but it's slowly starting to take shape. What really pushed me to start were plants, live plants. I just kept on buying new plants, and at a certain point the pressure was on. If I didn't build the environment for them, I was going to start losing them. Which brings us back to the saltwater Paludarium. Because while it may look calm on the surface, quite a few interesting things have been happening over the past few months. Let's take a closer look. I recently added a new coral to this system. It's a slipper coral, part of the plate coral family, and it's honestly massive. I came across it while browsing a store's website, and it immediately stood out. I had never seen one before in person, and they only had a handful available. It also seemed like they were selling out pretty quickly, so it wasn't one of those corals where you just overthink it for a long time and hopefully get it. Now, to make it work, I had to move my bubble coral to a different spot in the aquarium. As you may know, my filefish and dwarf angelfish have developed a bit of a taste for certain LPS corals. Now, with this in mind, I had to keep a close eye on this one from the start. What I find very interesting is how selective these fish are, because they'll completely ignore some LPS corals while repeatedly going after others. This one, for example, has been left alone for all this time it's been in here, as well as the bubble coral. They are perfectly fine. The Ophelia corals, on the other hand, were a different story. I noticed some early signs of tissue recession. I'm not sure if it was because of the fish nipping it or some other reasons, but just to make sure, I decided to move them before things could get worse. The slipper coral has now been in the system for about 2 weeks, and so far I haven't noticed any irritation or stressful nipping. Hopefully it stays that way. Speaking of fish, some of you were wondering how they're doing overall, especially when it comes to ick. The good news is I haven't seen any signs of it in a very long time. And while I'm sure that the parasites never fully disappear, the difference now is the environment. Feeding quality fish foods, stability and low stress make all the difference. I haven't used any medications. The fish look healthy and they're active, and because of that, any ick parasites that might be present simply cannot get the upper hand. Now there is some territorial behavior, but it's minor and expected. It doesn't really make a difference and it doesn't seem to be causing any stress. Overall, the tank is doing really well. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about macroalgae. Over the past few months, there's been a huge surge in demand for it. And honestly, I understand why. It's probably because of the same reason I fell in love with it. Macroalgae has become a very cool, easy and affordable alternative for people who want a natural looking saltwater display. I've been getting inquiries not just from people nearby, but also from people and even stores abroad, asking where to get certain species or just buy them from this aquarium. At the moment, I have a small holding tank with Halimania stipitata cuttings. Yeah, that's a mouthful. Now, these will be shipped out very soon, and when I really think about it, I've probably made over 50 people happy with macros over the past few months alone. It really makes me happy seeing people enjoy this amazing hobby. Despite shipping out so much, I still have a ton left. It just keeps growing and growing like crazy. I also received a new species to add to my collection. This blue one. I'm not entirely sure what the exact name is off the top of my head, but I'll leave a link in the description to a place where you can simply order some. Unfortunately, it was freezing quite a bit during the shipping process, and when it arrived here it wasn't in the best condition. Most of it didn't make it, but some sections survived, so for now, it's a bit of a waiting game. This species is very sensitive to temperature changes, and the store already offered to send more once temperatures go up a little bit. So fingers crossed it recovers. Above the waterline we have the terrestrial plants, and they are doing fantastic as well. Nothing to complain here. The asparagus fern in particular has been growing incredibly fast. It's already stretching towards the middle of the aquarium. The turtle plant is another favorite of mine. It has now almost reached the ceiling, and it's such a unique plant to watch develop. What's especially interesting is how its leaves react to light. The leaves higher up stay green, while the ones closer to the light slowly turn red. That color change is actually a natural defensive mechanism. When exposed to intense light, the plants produce red pigments, which kind of acts like sunscreen for the plant. They help protect the tissue from light stress while still allowing photosynthesis to happen. Overall, the aquarium is doing great, but I also think it has so much more potential once we redo it. I'd love to expand the tide pool area, because that's still one of my favorite parts of this entire build. There are also some things I'd like to improve on, like flow, heat distribution, and maybe even add some more dynamic features. Things like actual tidal movement or an automated rain system. There are a lot of ideas that come to mind almost instantly, but this is definitely something we'll be taking on step by step. Realistically, this is a project for later in this year. For the coming months, the main focus will be on setting up the giant tropical terrarium and the nano tanks downstairs. As always, let me know your thoughts and ideas in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thanks for watching.